The War is Over, the Stonehouse Series, Chapter 47. Tiny toes, like little fingers, gripped the greenhouse wall. Inside, just above the door, the little creature posted himself at the primary bottleneck for every bug that tried to find a way inside. Its silky green tree frog skin had somehow transformed to a gray, weathered wood to which it clung. Ben's first stop was the same as every other day, the chicken coop door, and as he learned to stay clear of the flyers with their flapping wings. There was no more picking eggs, and every hen that had wanted to hatch a clutch of eggs would be allowed to set. Matilda was just the first in line. Ben tied the door back and got a full scoop of feed to spread for the birds' breakfast, and then went in to look at Matilda's brooding face. She must eat sometime, but I have never seen her leave her nest. Matilda tipped her yellow beak back and forth and eyeballed the nose and eyes which intruded inside her space. A peck on the nose would send this newcomer packing. Might not be the best idea, but I'd like to do it just the same. Bug off, you featherless creature! You're breathing on me. Working through his morning rounds, the greenhouse was next in line, and so was mixing up another batch of Mary's special plant food. He stepped through the door, turned around, and looked up. Yep, the chirping little bug hunter is still there. You gotta be good to stay away from all those chickens. You'd be good and eat all the bugs, Zapper. Mary said I'm to watch out for you and not to let any chickens in here, so you must have earned some special right or place or something. So if it means anything to you, you are safe here with me. Ben went on to mix a gallon of water with a scoop of the brown stuff and a half a scoop of the green stuff, and then a cup of some smelly guck from the tall bottle. He stirred up the mixture and dumped a tablespoon on each inside plant and 2 on each outside plant. Next he took the donkey cart, with no donkey, by its 2 rails and pushed it over to the well and began filling water jars. Watering plants is a never-ending chore. And what am I, a rain cloud? Into the life of every plant, a little rain must fall. But nothing lives without water. Rainwater was precious, and every drop that could be directly captured was funneled into some container. Well water was good, but it had to be brought up 1 bucket at a time from 30 feet down. The dry season was over a month away, where they would see no rain for maybe 90 days or more, and the water level in the well may drop 5 feet. Lazarus should be back here before the dry season arrives. I hope. 2 days without rain meant someone had to pour 1 quart of water on each plant, and that took half a day. Oh, Lord God. Ben stopped for a moment and placed his hand over his heart. Lord God, Jesus stopped a storm, and he said that we could do the same. What about calling for rain? I don't want a storm. Is this something we could do? Do I just stand up straight and talk like Jesus? Rain! Gentle rain, come here, now! Would be much easier than 5 hours of watering the garden. Mid-afternoon arrived before Ben had given vitamins, food, and a drink of water to every plant. Standing just inside the greenhouse door, looking at a young spikenard, a drop of sweat ran down his arm and dripped off his elbow and landed on the plant. I wonder if my drop of sweat consists of part of its feeding or watering. He turned his eyes toward Zapper, the tree frog's domain, looking for the little bug hunter, but he had retreated into a shady, cooler place. Life without water is not possible. 1 week without it is certain death. Jesus continually speaks of living water. I wonder what he means. Is that like a spring which bubbles up from among the rocks? I know where lots of those are. Ben put the donkey cart and the other stuff away, latched the greenhouse door, and took one last look around the yard, surveying and taking inventory of chickens and chores. Satisfied that his work was done, he walked the path towards Emil's distant flock of sheep and goats. Maybe Emil knows what Jesus is talking about, his rivers of living water. Ben found him sitting in the shade of the twin sisters, 2 matched and ancient olive trees, near the top of a knoll. From that spot, for hundreds of years, shepherds had rested as they watched over their sheep and goats. Ben sat down in the grass next to Emil's dog and leaned back against one of the 3 large marble-shaped rocks. You know as much about it as I do, answered Emil to Ben's question. You've heard the same words that I have heard. It's better for you if I go away, for if I go, I can send Spirit Helper to you. We both have heard him say that several times. And then there is the out of your belly shall flow rivers of living water. What it all comes down to mean is yet to be understood. But he has said one thing that definitely gets my attention. Oh, yeah? What is that? The things that I have done shall you do also, and even greater things than these shall you do, because I go to my Father. That thought is more than I can wrap my mind around, so I don't try to understand it. I just choose to believe what he said. Emil announced, Yesterday I saw the 2 men who were waiting in ambush for Mary. Yesterday? That was another water the garden day. I was so tired by the time they got back from Jerusalem. I lit the torches for the walkway, went home, and just fell into bed. Woke up this morning with my sandals on. Several young sheep were eating with their noses stuck in the grass, slowly moving over a small knoll. Soon they would be out of sight. Emil gave one short whistle blast and got Clipper's attention. The dog looked towards his master, who with one hand pointed toward the wandering sheep and with his other arm stretched high made a circle in the air over his head. Within minutes, Clipper had those sheep back within the circle of the fold. What do you expect? Responded Emil. You're doing the work of 3 people. But it was Mary who asked you to do this for her, wasn't it? She wouldn't trick you into doing their chores. I told you before. She has her eyes set on you. First the blood drained from Ben's face, and then he turned beet red. He changed the subject back to the 2 would-be assassins. Were they holding on to darkness? Questioned Ben, trying to recapture his dignified voice. Or were they looking for the light? They were almost dead. The wounds had gotten infected, had an oozy green pus coming out of them, and they stunk too, the smell of certain death. But they were repentant for what they did and what they intended to do. I guess that's good. But you said that they were almost dead. Am I to understand that they are now alive and well and doing fine? What happened? Jesus happened, that's what. Healed them both. Just tiny scars to help them remember to be nice. But they will never forget what happened next. Ben looked over at Emil, waiting for him to continue. But his thoughts had brought him back to the temple, and in his memory he was watching Jesus working with a whip. He kept cracking that whip at something, focused on a spot, tracked it through the sky, and then whack, wham, kaboom. I wish I could have seen what he had cut down. Jesus had that whip with him, snapped it into the sky a few times, and then took it into the temple. From where I stood outside, it sounded like all hell was cut down, crash, smash, and kaboom, put to route on a fast track back to where they came from. Some of the merchants were all bloodied up and came limping out the doors. Those were the ones still holding on to darkness. Well, what happened next? Well, the two would-be assassins rang the dinner bell. They stood up in front of everyone and said what they had done and how Jesus had healed them anyway. Then they said Jesus would do the same for anyone. And for the next few hours, hundreds of sick and broken people went into the temple. But only healthy and well people came out. Did he do the thing where he gives people new arms and legs and eyes and stuff? That's just so amazing when he does that. Emil's memories brought him back to the temple watching as freedom was birthed into people. My second cousin's dull and cloudy eyes turned sharp green and then focused. He gawked at me and called me by name. Many entered the temple, only one leg, but left with two. Crippled, up arthritic hands, transformed to trim and youthful hands. Emil answered. I think that you could cook a cow with all the crutches that were left behind. What happens now? I mean next, tonight. Soon it will be time to go and light the torches. That's right. You weren't there last night, and you don't even know. No, I was tired. I could hardly stand up. Too bad. You missed it. Missed what? What's going on? What did I miss? It's a good thing that you stopped by to see me, 'cause I know. Emil, Ben flustered. Come on, what do you know? Emil only gave Ben a cat ate the canary look as he chewed on a piece of clover. Come on, Emil, I don't have time to play 20 questions. I have to go and get the torches for the walkway ready, and that takes me over an hour. Emil continued with a note of sadness. Jesus is staying in Jerusalem tonight. He and his disciples are having a dinner there, and after the dinner, his disciples will prepare for Passover tomorrow. Oh, okay. I know something else, added Emil. You do? What is it? We have been invited to Stonehouse, and there's food, and something special. What? Then, let's get these sheep and goats back in their pens and get going. No need. What? Emil, come on. We need to get moving. Moshe should be here about now, informed Emil as he scanned the horizon for his nephew. He will look after them until I return. Besides, I'm all cleaned up and ready to go. You're the one who better hurry. You smell like a bad onion. Oh, man. Is Mary going to be there? I would think that they could come up out of the caves. And with all the travel that's going on around Passover, it's very hard to keep track of anyone. Mary, Martha, and Lazarus don't want to be found, and I have sort of allowed some misleading information to be let out about the three of them and a cousin's family in Galilee. They'll be there, answered Email as he motioned Ben to action. But you better do something, or stay downwind of them. Mary would rather have you tell her how busy you've been than to smell how busy you've been. Well, I'm gone, answered Ben as he got to his feet. And if I run home and you walk over, you can stop by and get me on your way there, and I'll be ready. 30 minutes later, the two friends were walking the path where Ben had lit a row of torches the night before.